Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rain City Variety Pod. Today I'm going to be doing a little book review of A Brave New World, a book that I started my book reading journey with. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if you guys are going to hear this, if I'll be redoing it. I'm just putting it out here for in case we don't get anything recorded for Friday, because I will be at a bachelor party and just won't have content, unfortunately, for even potentially Monday. But I'm going to try and sort that out. So if you're hearing this, this is just something I threw together just so you could have something to listen to and enjoy on your Friday or Monday, whatever it comes out for. So I'm going to be doing a book review of A Brave New World. It's the first book on my reading journey that I took starting at the start of this year. I'm not gonna. I think what I'm gonna do is I don't want to spoil the book and just kind of like give you the full synopsis of it. I think I'm just gonna kind of talk about overall views and if I'd recommend it at the end. Um, so yeah, Brave New World. It's a really interesting book. It takes place in a future where like everything, or it's actually in the past, but it's like it seems futuristic. It's kind of weird. It's like just ahead of where we are now. I feel by like maybe like 25 or 30 years. And basically, what they've done is they've been able to genetically manipulate pretty much everything about like birth and reproduction. So everything's test tube babies. There is what is it? Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon, and those are the castes of people. So alphas obviously are the most intelligent, and they're like I don't want to say they're the physically the fittest, but they're like healthy, as opposed to like an epsilon is very dumb and they work out in the field, so they're actually like physically fit, but they're very docile, and they do a lot of things like this is at the very very start of the book. This is like right when you start reading, they're explaining all this, and they basically are like, well, they're in the test tubes, add oxygen to some as opposed to others they won't, which kind of gets them to be a certain way, like they grow more, grow less, and this is all at certain points throughout their development over the 9 months. And they'll do things like once they're actually born, they'll be doing things like um, they'll put a whole bunch of delta infants, for example, in front of books and flowers, and then anytime they see books and flowers, they'll kind of like zap them, and they'll make them like it'll make them docile. It's explained better in the book, but it basically like it makes them docile so they don't want to revolt. So there's none of these like uprisings or anything, because the people are so bred from the beginning genetically to be what their caste is. They don't want it. So it's like the guys that work in the field that are all dumb and they do all the hard labor and stuff. That's actually all they want to do. They don't want to be in the cities living the high life doing all the fun things. And then there's this other thing that like the whole undertone of the book is um too much pleasure, in life in general you need highs and lows, because if everything's just all pleasure, all pain, like whatever, that just becomes your baseline, right? So basically this is a world, it's the world state, and it's everything is all pleasure all the time, and they're given this pill called soma. And from what I understand, soma is it's basically MDMA and alcohol. That's kind of like the experience, but there's no hangover for it. It doesn't, supposedly you're not addicted to it or anything like that. It's that there's just no negative effect other than a good night. And what they start doing is they also are conditioning the young kids, and they're like, there's like hundreds of them, and when they're really young, they're all like sexually active with each other in these like, I don't want to say like camps, but like, yeah, I get like, let's call it camps, sure, why not? They're like camps, and they all like, so then that's the start of the book, and then it cuts at the end to or at the end of the first chapter to them like talking about who their partners are. And basically everyone's just sleeping with everyone, going out doing soma. They work the exact amount of hours, like the 9 to 5, get out, go party, sleep around, have a good time. When you first start reading the book, it honestly sounds super sweet. If I'm being honest, I was like, oh, what? And anyhow, then there's a lower caste named Bernard, and Lenina is like she's the main female character in it, and then Bernard Marx is the main male character, and she's a higher caste, and Bernard is a lower one, but she's attracted to him because he's weird compared to everyone else in this society. Um, and then Bernard, like, and this is all like a future. This is all society where like, what's it called? Bureaucracy rules the day by far. Like, everything they have to do, you have to like send a request form to this person who sends it to this to get back to you to do this. So there's this place called the Outer Lands, and or the reservation, and so they get all these like forms signed to go out to the reservation, and when they get there, they encounter like they're not natives or indigenous people. They're like the like people on the reservation, and basically all they are is the people that decided to live normal lives like you and I, and not go into this like future society where everyone's sleeping with everyone, everything's all pleasure all the time. um, and it's and at first they're like so taken back by the fact that all these people like have one partner, they're upset, they're sad, they've never seen anyone age, because there's all this stuff that makes like old people aren't visible, and like all the attractive people aren't there. So like it's just this huge contrast of like the world we live in versus this super far out future. Sorry, I keep getting tripped up on the word future because it takes place in the past, but like when it was written in the 20s, I think it was the 20s or 30s, it was taking place in like the 60s, but it was like the 60s if they were 20 years from now. So everything's like they're doing all this genetic modification and all this stuff. Anyhow, so it's the first time you've actually been like, oh shit, those crazy people they always referring to in the book, that's me. Like that's the normal life. And until that point, I always, it was weird. You're reading about them going to these parties, they're having sex, they're all just like, everyone seems like so like happy, but it's very monochromatic, and you can tell they're not. You're like, oh, weird. And then you see us, the normal folk that like that are I don't know, just like having aging and having problems and families and all that, and somehow it like kicks you back, and you're like, holy shit, like that's what was weird, was you didn't realize that as you're reading all this sweet stuff, you're like, oh, it seems weird, but then when you actually get like the dichotomy of it next to our reality, you start going, I see what this book's talking about. And so it's the clear, like, again, what I referred to at the start is like, if there's all pleasure, there's no such thing as pleasure, so you need the like ups and the downs. Anyhow, I think I'm gonna leave it there because that's the very start of the book, and then after that it goes on this crazy story where it gets more into like the actual characters, and they meet some people and a whole bunch of stuff happens, but it's a really really good book. The thing I think that's really like crazy about it is the fact that this book was written so long ago, but I'm gonna look it up right now. When was A Brave New World written? 1932. So it was written in 1932, but like this is the near future. I don't know about the whole like sex breeding thing, but it kind of is this idea of like, if you start genetically modifying people, you inevitably are going to have this inverse of like, there will be people that have no disease and they're perfect and they have all these like, just like the prototypical perfect human, versus everyone else, or the people that like, I don't know, it's hit so close to home. And I can't get over how when you're reading this book that's supposed to be taking place in the 60s or the 50s or whatever it is, like you're like, oh my god, this is about to happen. And so the first 3 books I've read in this series of like, I've got a whole bunch now, I think I'm on 8 or 9 books I've read this year, which I'm super proud of. But this whole thing started because I was getting super freaking wound up in just the like the way the world's going, and just like the future of everything with AI, and just a whole bunch of stuff that you've heard me refer to before. So I had to read these books because I kept reading a stuff on the internet being like, if you read these 3 books, you are going to be like, holy fuck, this is the future. So the first one is this one, A Brave New World. The next one is Animal Farm, which is really freaking good. I'd highly recommend that one too. And then the last one is 1984, which is all our classics. But as for A Brave New World, Do I do this out of 5? I think I'm gonna do it out of 5. So it's basically like read it is a 3, recommend it is a 4, and then a 5 is a must read. I'd say, would I recommend this book? If you're interested in just what I explained there, that idea of like, oh shit, this is the future, this is a must read. It's a 10 out of, or a 5 out of 5. Okay, so this is gonna be a rating system out of 5. So the first book, it's a 10 out of 5. No, so yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 if you're interested in what I just explained there. And it's really, honestly, it's a little creepy reading about that book, and you can really contrast it with our future, or even our present, really, like our present near future. So if you're really into what I just said there, 5 out of 5. If you're not and you're just kind of a book reader, I'd honestly give it a 3, because there is points in it where I was kind of like the 30s does show through if you're not as interested into what I was thinking about there. Because like they'll be like, yes, Regina was wearing a nice button-up blouse, and for her to take it off I had to uncinch the back of it, and I'm like, okay, this could have been like way sexier, but you just kind of put out what happens in like the 30s, I guess, or yeah, anyhow. So 5 out of 5 if you're interested in the near future, futurism, I guess. 3 out of 5 if you're just looking for a read. Anyhow, that's all for today. I'm actually gonna post this, I think, sooner than later, because it turned out better than I thought it was going to. As of right now, I'm reading the Witcher series, and I have 8 books to finish. I'm on the first, so I'll be out for a while, but I'd love in the comments anyone to recommend any really good books they have. I love, honestly, like anything history, like nonfiction, especially if you know anything about like the Middle East, Russia, China, and you can recommend anything about those books, I'd love them. Really just anything. I'm on a huge reading kick, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Anyhow, comment about some good books. I hope you're all having a good day, and thanks for listening. Take care.